What would happen if Insta360 took their two best cameras, the Ace Pro 2 with its incredible low light footage and replaceable lenses, and its X4, which is easily the best 360 camera on the market, and just smash them together to make one super camera? Well, you'd get this. You'd get this, the Insta360 X5, which is their newest 360 camera, and you guys are gonna be shocked at everything they put into this thing. They've literally taken every best spec from the Ace Pro 2 and the X4 and put it into one single camera. And in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you guys what it's capable of for motorcycle riders like you and me. Now guys, this video is sponsored by Insta360. That's how I got the X5, and I'm able to put this video out on the day it's released. Now because of that, this video is not a review. I'm not telling you guys what to buy or anything like that. I have just been riding with this camera for the past couple weeks, and I'm gonna show you what it's capable of. I've taken it in the city, off-road, I've taken it sunset riding, I've taken it night riding, and everything in between. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you guys all the footage that I got, and then hopefully at the end of the video, you can decide for yourself if this is a camera you should consider upgrading to. Now guys, before I show you guys the footage that I got with the X5, I wanted to go over what's actually new with the X5 compared to the X4 model, which is the previous model. Now I know a lot of you guys are probably watching a lot of X5 content today, so if you guys want to skip over this what's new section, you can just go to that timestamp. Don't worry, I'm not gonna be offended. I'm just trying to save you guys some time. So here's what's new. First off, pretty big deal, and that's gonna be a new sensor for the X5. It's actually 144% larger than the X4 sensor, and what that means is we're gonna get more detail and we're gonna have better low light. Next up, we actually have pure video mode in the X5, which is that crazy low light mode that the Ace Pro 2 has. Now the X5 can do it too. The next thing that the X5 is bringing is replaceable lenses, and it's probably the biggest deal, at least to me. Now I know a lot of you guys are probably gonna listen to that and be like, Chase, didn't the X4 have replaceable lenses? No, it did not. So what the Insta360 X4 had was replaceable lens guards. Now, previously to that, these lenses were precious little things, and we had to be very cautious of them because if they got any kind of damage, it would basically ruin all the footage that you get with this camera. So the lens guards were cool, but if you shot with the X4, then you know when you had the lens guards on, the quality just wasn't as high as it could be without the lens guards. So most of us ran no guards, which is a very scary thing to do because again, if you mess these lenses up, you're screwed. But what Insta360 X5 is bringing is these lenses are now user replaceable. So you can run it at the highest quality with no extra glass. The more glass you add, the degradation in quality happens. You can shoot this in whatever position you want, wherever you want. You don't have to worry about the lenses anymore because they can be swapped out. Very cool modification for the X5. Probably my favorite one so far. Moving right along, the next modification the X5 is gonna have is wind guards on top of the microphones. If you guys are familiar with the Ace Pro 2, you know that they introduced these little wind guards that go in front of the mics, and it basically helps disperse wind before the audio picks it up. And that way you can literally just put your Ace Pro 2 on your motorcycle and you can hear your motorcycle, not crazy wind crap. Well, that same stuff is here in the X5. You guys can see it. We have that wind guard technology on the X5 now too, which is awesome because I know a lot of you guys put these on your motorcycles and ride around. The audio quality is going to be considerably better now. The next upgrade, and my God, it's about time for this. They still have the quarter 20 thread on the bottom of the X5, but if you guys notice, there's a couple extra holes. That is for quick release. Thank God. So if you guys have used Insta360's other cameras, you know that they have these quick release systems that you can just press the sides and pop it off. The 360 cameras from them finally have these. I hate screwing this camera on every time. So now you can just quick release it, and it works with the original quick release stuff that they have. So you don't have to get any more if you already have some. That's huge. So that's all the stuff on the outside of the camera, but internally it has a fun mode that we can now use that kind of eliminates the need to always have to open the app and create the content that you want to make on it. It's called Insta Frame mode, and basically what it does is it will record a video that it will render out as an MP4, and then it also simultaneously shoots a 360 file. So that way, if you want to go back in and customize a video, you can, but you have a video quick and ready to post, and it does it automatically as as long as you're in that mode. We also have a new style battery in the X5, and it's quick chargeable. Apparently the battery is supposed to last a little longer than the X4. And for shooting modes, the X5 can shoot in 8K 30, 5.7K 60, and HDR. So basically, Insta360 upgraded a lot of stuff and then kept a lot of the things that were working well. All right guys, so that's the quick overview of what's new on the X5, so let's look at some footage. So guys, after I got the camera unboxed, I quickly got it charged, mounted it to my motorcycle, and I took off for downtown because I wanted to see what this camera would look like in ideal daylight situations and into sunset. And let's just say it did not disappoint. So guys, as y'all are seeing, the daytime footage looked fantastic. Now, to be clear, the Insta360 X4 also looked great in these conditions, so I wasn't even really needing any upgrade here, but after recording all of this X5 footage during the day, I did notice a decent amount of sharpness that this footage had that the X4 didn't. And I'm not talking about that fake sharpening that looks like crap. This thing looked clean. Also, looking at the sky, looking at the colors of my motorcycle, the colors are fantastic and looked exactly like I saw with my eyes. While I was out, I also have this little tripod situation that I wanted to try the camera on, so I popped the camera on this and just put it down and drove around the camera. I kind of like the idea of being able to drive around a 360 camera because you can just pan in post, and I gotta say, having this camera stable and me riding around with it did an awesome job. I really love the idea of a 360 camera really being able to be utilized as a team, almost like a different person, so I can just be like, hey guy, go stand over there and get a shot. And now I can be over here and there's a dude over there filming. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that kind of simple stuff that really makes me think, like, how can I utilize this camera more in my day-to-day production? As you guys can tell, I kind of like putting the camera on a tripod and it just films everything around it. So it's kind of cool. Now, I did try a couple times using that new mode that keeps you centered in the frame, and then it also shoots a 360 file, and the center frame tracking thing you can quickly post, and my findings were it worked okay. We're gonna talk more about that later in the video when I go into the software stuff though, so we're gonna leave that there until later. Now, I have to say, one of the shots I got during the day that I liked the most was trying this out as a motovlogging helmet. Now, in the past, 360 cameras to me have never been a camera that should be used as a motovlogging camera. I was just never happy with the quality. 360 cameras were always those cameras that you put in a really weird, unique spot and you get some fantastic footage, almost like the weirder or the more dangerous spot you put it in, the better the footage looked. But it could never replace an action camera on the front of the helmet. But I figured, you know what, I'll try it out anyway. I got this cool little side bracket to mount it horizontally, and I just attached it to the front of my helmet and rode around. And you guys can see for yourself, but this X5 is the first 360 camera that I am 100% happy enough with that footage to actually use that for motovlogging. I guess it's because of the newer sensor, but there's something about the sharpness that just really works for me. And the thing that makes this crazy is that if I have this camera mounted on the front of my helmet, the amount of versatility is literally endless because it's still a 360 camera. Do I want my motovlog to be horizontal and go on YouTube? Awesome. Do I want it to be vertical and go on TikTok? Cool, same thing. Do I want to pan a shot from side to side? Awesome. Do I want to zoom in, zoom out? I can literally do anything. I have all of this versatility baked in because it's a 360 file. I can do whatever I want, and I still have it in the same place. I don't have to move it or do anything to get all of the shots I just described, and I think that is absolutely sick. And this is the first 360 camera that's ever been able to do that, at least to the quality that I would be looking for. Now, I know you guys are gonna be asking, I'll have a link for this little side bracket that I used that worked out really well in the description down below. I'm also thinking of doing like a big motovlog helmet camera guide. And if you guys are interested in that, I'll have a sign up link in the description down below. I haven't made it yet, but when I was making this video, I was like, there are so many options on the market and things get a little confusing. So I was thinking of putting a whole guide together. So if you guys want to be first in line for that, I'm not going to charge for it. I'm just going to like send it out to you. So if you want to sign up, it'll be down there and I'll just send it to you whenever it's ready. So guys, overall, all of my daytime footage, after looking at it and checking it out, I am super happy with this. The 8K looks fantastic. The 5.7K with HDR looks great. It could literally handle a direct sun setting brightness with all the dark little images. I was really impressed with how dynamic that HDR shot was. The big question though is, what would this camera look like once the sun went down? Now that we don't have all that light to rely on, we get to try the pure video mode in the X5. For you guys that aren't familiar, pure video mode is this mode that Insta360 brought in with the Ace Pro and then the Ace Pro 2, where they have made it using the AI in the camera to be able to take in as much light as possible and actually make footage that looks good even with very little light. Not gonna go into all the details and technical stuff, nobody cares. But action cameras can see in the dark is basically what it is. They brought it in the Ace Pro and they've been making it better and better and better every single camera they've put it in. So let's see what it looks like with the X5. Now guys, the best way I could come up to test the pure video mode was mount the X5 and the X4 on the back of my MT10 and get the exact same shot just on one side of the bike, and that way I could see what they look like. When I turned the cameras on and just saw what the lighting looked like on the screen of the camera, I was shocked. At first I was like, is the screen just way better on the X5? Or is the X4 just not bringing in as much light as I thought it was? Because I thought the X4 did a decent job shooting at night. I remember using it a couple times to be like, well, it's not too bad. I think I didn't think it was too bad because it wasn't being compared to something with pure video mode. Because, I mean, look at the footage yourself. Look at the sky. Look at the motorcycle. Look at the tree behind us. It looks incredibly different on the X5 as compared to the X4. I was not ready for that big of a comparison difference. I don't know why, but I was not ready for that. So after I got over my initial shock of how different the cameras looked in that parking lot, I took off and rode around the city at night just to see a difference in the cameras, and let's just say they're not even in the same ballpark. I will say the one thing the X4 does a really good job at is rendering video very similar to what I see with my eyes. So the stuff you guys are seeing on the X4, that's really close to what I was able to see while I was riding around with my visor open. Obviously I had a dark visor, so I'm not, factoring in the darkness or all that kind of stuff. But the X4 does a really good job of seeing what you see as a person. The X5 sees what I think an animal could see that walks around at nighttime. It's absolutely insane. I will say somewhere I messed up was I did not tighten the clamps on the X5 shot enough, and because of my production schedule right now, I can't reshoot the footage. But if you guys notice that the X5 footage looks a little shakier, it's because your boy did not clamp stuff down. Sorry, being in downtown Atlanta is a little sketchy sometimes, so you gotta be in and out, and I forgot to do this. So if it's a little shaky, that's my bad. Shakiness aside, it's absolutely incredible the amount of light that the X5 can bring in pure video mode. I don't know why this is surprising me, because I've literally done camera tests with the Ace Pro 2. I've done the pure video test before. But for some reason, seeing it in a 360 platform and being able to pan and zoom and do all the stuff that you can do on a 360 camera just felt way different to me. Now, I do want to set expectations correctly. Pure video mode is not magic. It's science, so it does need some light to do its thing. You guys can really see this when I got to the end of my city ride, when I got to the Georgia Capitol. The area I parked in was black, and you can see that from the X4 footage. There was no light over here. And if we look at the X5 footage, you do see some grain on the ground and stuff like that, a little bit of noise and stuff. But the fact that you can see anything is really impressive. I did want to just, it's not going to be a magic thing that everything looks super clean, but it does not take a lot of light to get a really nice image. The fact that the X5 could see the ground at that point was pretty impressive to me. Now that we're done with all of the city testing, it was time to test out the X5 for its durability, and what better way to do that than take it off-road? So I grabbed my T7 and I had a really fun day. Now, what I'm looking for in a camera that I want to be using off-road is a few things. One, I want it to have a solid battery life. I'm going to be riding in God knows where. I need to have a battery that's going to last for a while, because I don't want to be stopping to swap my battery out all the time. I need it to be durable because there's a lot of stuff going on off-road. Bikes are going down, rocks are flying left and right, dust, water, everything. It's got to be able to handle that, and I need it to do a good job at exposing. When you're off-road, your environment is a lot different. Sometimes you're in full sun, and then you'll go into full shade, and then full sun. Sometimes light's coming through trees. Exposing is really hard for a camera off-road, so I wanted to see how it handled with all of those things. So the first test, stabilization. I mounted the X5 on the crash bars of my Tenere 700, and I went off to ride on one of the most technical roads I have ridden so far. And this was a perfect scenario for the X5 or a 360 camera in general, because when you're riding a really technical road, especially when you're new to it like I am, you have to focus everything you have on riding. You don't have time to worry about the camera. You just want to set it, forget it, and go ride. And the X5 did such an amazing job with this. As you guys can see with the footage, it came out great and I didn't have to worry about it. I was really impressed with the exposure. When I had it in 5.7K in HDR, you can literally see everything and the exposure's fantastic, but you guys are watching and can tell for yourself. Guys, during this whole ride, I just had the X5 mounted up on the front of my T7 and had no protection on it, which kind of worried me because rocks and dust were just flying left and right that day, and I was worried that something was going to happen to the camera, because if it did, I'd be in kind of a hard spot. I still needed to do this review, and as you guys can see, this thing looks brand new. It did get a couple rocks thrown at it, and I literally can't even tell where they were. So not only are the lenses very strong, but the whole body of the camera itself really took a beating that day, and after I got home, cleaned it off with a microfiber, you literally can't tell that it's not brand new. So really freaking happy about that. I am still sad that Insta360 wasn't able to get me a lens repair kit, because I really wanted to try like breaking one of these lenses and seeing how the repair process worked, but I just guess I'll make a vertical video later down the road whenever they get one sent to me.
Chase, I'm so sorry to hear that they didn't send you the lens kit. Maybe they sent it to me because, yeah, I've destroyed a few. I got 5 cameras here that I've absolutely annihilated. Just gotta destroy more cameras, man. But it's all good, I got you back. This is the lens replacement kit, and I'm gonna give you guys a demonstration. In the box, you have the lens case, and inside of that is the replacement lens, so it's only one lens per case. Just be mindful of that. The lens grip tool, you have a lens blower, you have a removable tool, a brush, cleaning wipes, and a lens cloth, and disposable gloves. So you align the orange mark on the lens grip tool with the white mark on the lens ring, and then just twist it twice counterclockwise, and out comes the lens ring. Get your removal tool, just wedge it in there and pop it off. And bang, that's it. Your lens is already off. Happy days. Now you just want to clean the area, blow out all the dust, get your little brush and everything. So if you actually shatter the glass, and all glass and dirt and everything goes in there, make sure you clean everything as best you can. Grab the little lens by its little nipple there. It's a nipple. Screw that lens ring back in. Make sure you don't cross thread it. If it feels like it's not going in properly, just back it off a little bit and go on a little bit again. Then you'll feel when it's right. Lock that in, then give it another nice wipe down, and then just go into your settings and use the in-camera stitching feature, and that'll line everything up. And that is it, man. You're ready to rock and roll again. I did it for the first time while filming, doing all the stuff, kind of freaking out. Just because this is a whole new thing. I did it in 10 minutes, but you could easily do it in like 3, in 2. Just make sure you clean it thoroughly. That's the best thing ever, man.
That's one of the cool things about having the repair kit for the X5, because I personally want quality first and then everything else second. So I am not shy with putting my X4 in a couple locations. I don't know if we've shown the shot, but on the R9 press launch, I mounted the X4 on the very back swing arm of the R9, and I actually drug it across the ground when I was going through a left-hand turn. The camera was on the left side, and it actually has drag marks on the camera, but the shot looked like this, so it was worth it. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what traditionally I look at Insta360 360 cameras for, is putting them in these like real sketchy locations because the footage looks fantastic. And now that we have a repair kit, we get the highest quality footage, and we just repair the lenses if they get messed up. It's awesome. All right, let's talk about some of the little things: audio, battery life, and mounting. First up, let's touch on audio. As I told you guys earlier in the video, the X5 has now those little wind guards similar to the Ace Pro 2, and I was really impressed with the Ace Pro 2 and how it could handle wind noise, and you can actually hear your motorcycle while you're riding with no audio. The X5 is no different. So we'll jump back to that nighttime footage where I had both cameras mounted on the back of my motorcycle. Obviously, it's an MT10, there's no real wind protection on that bike, and I had both cameras mounted out to the side. So let's listen to what the X4 sounded like first. So as you guys can see, you can hear my motorcycle, but you can also hear wind noise. Now let's listen to what the X5 sounded like in the same spot. So there you go. Can you guys hear a difference? Now I will note, I have these little modifications on my X4. It's like this little Velcro stuff on the side of the microphones, and you can add these little wind blockers on the side, which honestly, for as jank as it looks, actually works pretty well. The only problem is, and it would get very annoying, is one, they're very light. You can see they don't stay on very tightly, and with the X4, I'm always using the silicone hood to make sure that it stays safe, and when you put this on, it will actually press these things off. So it became a thing of, one, they're tiny, I'll lose them. I've gone through this entire pack and I have 2 left. So, you know, says enough right there. But they're very tiny and I would always have to take them off, right? Put them in a bag, forget about them, they'd fall out, I'd never see them again. But I'd have to take them off to put the lens hood on. So now I don't have to do that with the X5 because it's all built in. It's way more streamlined. Also, nobody wants the little Velcro stuff on the side of the camera. Like, come on, man. Low key though, it was a good solution for a problem that we had. So I do appreciate that it's a thing. Just want to be clear. So the next thing we can talk about is mounting. I don't think I really need to go into the depths of how much better having the quick release is than the old school quarter 20. Now, if you guys have a lot of mounts that are quarter 20 mounts, awesome. The X5 still has a little quarter 20 in the bottom. But as you guys can see, being able to do that, the camera's there and it's set up. One of the things I like with the 360 cameras is I like placing them in lots of different locations, but I ain't got the money to have like 5 360 cameras. So having it on quick release means that I can set up like 4 different locations on my motorcycle that are always ready to go. You know, it could be a shot on my T7 that I know looks good. I could have a mount on the back of my MT10 on the side where if I go to a track day, I can just pop it on. Now I can just have like 4 different mounts, and if I want a certain shot, I just pop it on there and I go. Another thing you have to worry about with quarter 20s, ask me how I know. You have to rotate them on, right? Okay, cool. Let's just say you're getting a low angle. Let's just say you're off-road. There's a lot of vibration going on. What happens when the camera just slowly does this and does this and does this, and eventually, if you're not paying attention and it's not tethered, whoo, gone. You'll never find it. Or maybe you will. Now, we do have an upgraded battery on the X5, and I did a little test at my desk. I had the X4 and the X5 fully charged, and I turned them both on. The X4 ran for 1 hour and 17 minutes, and the X5 ran for 1 hour and 28 minutes, and they were both shooting at 8K 30. Now, I will note that one of the big deals with the X5 is it has an endurance mode, and that's supposed to get the camera to 1 hour and 80 minutes, I think. So I just realized I haven't tested that, and this is the time I got in endurance mode. So hopefully that's close to that time. Sorry, I don't have a lot of time these days, so I'm trying to make this shit work. But one of the downsides of this new upgraded battery is that it's slightly different looking than the battery on the X4. So if you have a lot of batteries for your X4, they will not transfer to the X5. I know, it's annoying. I have a lot of batteries for the X4 too. It would be nice if they could use it on the X5. I hate when camera companies change out the batteries because it's like, bruh, we invested in all the batteries and now we can't use them. But I'm sure there's some scientific reason. I'm not smart enough to know why. All right, so let's talk software real quick, guys. If you guys didn't know, Insta360 has an app on the phone and studio software that you can use on your laptop. And what you do with that software is you can move the frame around your 360 footage. You have to have software to make the footage look good. But in the past, if we're gonna be really honest, the Insta360 software has been okay. It's probably been my least favorite thing about using Insta360 cameras, or the 360 cameras at least, because they always have to go through that software, and I was never a big fan of it. But they have overdone their entire software on the computer to make it far more easy, and it now looks like a regular editor. It looks like a Premiere Pro, or it looks like a Final Cut like I use, and everything makes sense. Now, that's what I love so much. Everything just makes sense now. So I'm recording my screen here, and I'll show you guys what I mean by it looks like Final Cut, like I would use. So right here, I'm just scrubbing through the footage to see what shots are what. And it's this shot that I want to add. So if I hit the plus button, you'll watch it go automatically to the bin if my computer will run quickly. Normally my computer's plugged into the server and everything, so. Anyway, okay, so my file is in here now. So for one, you guys can see we get little waveforms down here, right? That's audio, you can see the audio. And with a 360 camera, this is the cool thing. So this is the video that I've got, right? This is what's down here. I can just scrub along. Also, this software runs really well. I do not have a built out Mac. This is like a Mac Air. And even with it not being plugged into power, you can still scrub through this footage. Really, really surprising with that. So the cool thing about 360 stuff is it records everything, right? So I can go over here and I can click and I can drag around, right? This is the whole point of having 360 stuff. So if I zoom out, it zooms out. If I zoom in, it zooms in. And to do a keyframe to be where you want it to be, let's just say we go to this spot in the video, right? I want to frame the motorcycle like that. I right click and it pops the keyframe up down here. Super cool. So let's talk about that Insta frame thing that automatically tracks you where, it's going to keep you in the center of the frame. I think it's really cool that they offer that and you can quickly post that. The only problem is, I'll show you. Okay, so here's the frame that I got of me with this 360 file. So down here is the 360 file that it recorded separately, but this is the frame that it recorded. You guys see how it's just jittery and it doesn't really know who I am or what I am? It takes a little second and then it still just bobbles up and down. So one of the things I have noticed is this works better when you're farther away from the camera. I was next to it. I could have hit it with my hip at that point. So when you're a little too close to it, it has a hard time of understanding what you are or who you are. And I also noticed that it has a hard time grabbing the motorcycle. Once I get on the bike, you see, it's not really sure. And watch when I go too far away. It now doesn't know where I am. So it doesn't know that I'm there anymore. So some of that is cool, some of it works okay, but one of the things that I like to do instead is, this is obviously if you have time to do this. So let's just say we want to make the same thing. I go down here and go 9:16, which is, vertical if we're gonna go on Instagram or TikTok. And I can just drag over to me, I click deep track, and you see how a little green thing pops up on me? I'm gonna click that. Deep track, I have found, works far better than the InstaFrame stuff. I will note that the InstaFrame stuff is all AI driven, so it's just software based. So Insta360 will over time be able to make that better and better, and Insta360 has proven throughout the years that they are a company that constantly iterates and makes their software better. So you guys can see Deep Track is doing such a fantastic job of keeping me. I'm gonna go out of frame here, and obviously it can't follow me if I'm out of frame, so I'll stop the deep track. But let's just watch how the deep track does. You see how much smoother deep track is? It's not jumping around, and that's still with me being way too close to the camera. So I feel like you can get way better footage if you use deep track. So that's how I'm gonna be using it in the future if I wanna be doing that. I don't think I'll really be using that InstaFrame too much, but I am gonna keep checking back on it because like I said, Insta360, they are always coming out with firmware updates and making their cameras better and better. And if that InstaFrame stuff is built entirely off of the AI that they've put into the camera, they just have to do a little software update and literally make it better. So I have full faith that in a few months, once these get out in the market and people are using them, they have all that data, they can make it even better. Anyway, I could spend all day on the software stuff, but just know if you guys are new to Insta360, this software is fantastic. If you've been using the Insta360 Studio app, this is going to be life-changing. Trust me, at least it was for me. I don't know if this software is out yet, but whenever it is, you guys need to download it because you can actually use it with your X4 as well. So I guess the question at the end of the day is, who is the X5 for? And honestly, I can't think of anybody who the X5 is not for. It takes every problem that a 360 camera had, wind issues at speed, low light shooting, and ruggedness with the lenses, and it fixes all of those problems. Now, if you have an Insta360 X4 and you don't ride at night, and being able to replace your lenses if they crack, if that's not an issue for you, then maybe stick with the X4, you're probably fine. Now, if you are somebody that likes putting your X4 in very sketchy situations or you ride at night, then the X5 is kind of like a no-brainer with how good it can shoot at night and being able to replace the lenses. If you guys have seen this whole video and now you're thinking, okay, cool, I'm sold, the X5 is definitely a tool I need to record my motorcycle rides, that's awesome. I got a link for you guys in the description. Obviously, that helps me out and it doesn't cost you guys anything extra. Matter of fact, it gets you something for free. So that link in the description, I will also have a code down there. If you guys use that code, you're gonna get a free motorcycle bundle with the X5, which is basically, it comes with all the mounting stuff you need to mount that thing on your motorcycle. It's literally the stuff I use to mount on my bikes. Insta360 somehow makes some of the best mounting hardware for 360 cameras, so they're doing a really good job in the accessory department, and you guys can get that free motorcycle upgrade. The only problem is it's only gonna last for the first week when this camera gets released, so it is kind of a time-dependent thing. If you guys want to grab it while you can to get that free motorcycle bundle. Are you guys starting to understand what I was talking about? Insta360 literally was like, cool, our Ace Pro 2 is an awesome camera. Our X4 is like the best 360 camera on the market. Let's just put the best stuff of both of them into one single camera and make some awesome mega 360 camera. And that is definitely the X5. You guys let me know, after you saw all the footage that I got with the X5, are you thinking of grabbing one to record your rides? Let me know in the comments down below. Big shout out to Insta360 for sponsoring this video and allowing me to test this thing out for you guys before it came out. It's always fun to be able to test new cameras and help you guys understand what they can do. Guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. You guys go out there and ride safe and record all the fun that you're having out on motorcycles, and I will see you on the next one. Later.